Connect Media. If it is your first time that you are watching us, I will encourage you to subscribe to the Ainoo-Kwagyan Media on YouTube. You see the red button there, just click on it. Beloved, the journey of life has its twists and turns. The journey of life has its twists and turns. And the journey of life obliges us that at a certain point of time in life, you must take decision to turn into a certain part of life, to live with someone from a different home, to live with someone for the rest of your life. And it's a journey that we must take precautions. It's a journey that we must think as a person, whether to embark on such journey or to retreat. But it is a necessity as we live on this earth, that as a man on certain age, as a woman on certain age, you will be forced to engage in this journey. Beloved, we have numbers that have influence over our lives. And I would like to sit back as we journey in these numbers for you to understand. And I believe strongly that this epidemic that happened had made a lot of marriages to be cancelled, a lot of engagement to be cancelled. And it is a very good time for you to sit down. As a woman, to sit down. As a man, for you to listen very attentively on the journey that you are about to embark on and the influences that can happen in the future yet to come. Beloved, we have numbers that affect marriages. We have numbers that influences marriages. Why am I saying this? In the wisdom of God and the creation of the heaven and earth, the Lord created in pairs. It was only Adam that was created as a single fold. And Bible says that, and the Lord saw that it was not a good plan. So God decided to add a woman to him to make him complete. So you got to understand that in the wisdom of God, a man is a necessity for a man to live with a woman. And it's a necessity for a woman also to live with man. So the Lord did this pairing for the existence of the earth to be very good and to be very sweet. And we know that marriage is an argument between two persons who have decided to live together for the rest of their life. Beloved, there are many ways that people define marriages. People have their own understanding of defining marriages. And you have the right to define marriage in the way that you understand it. But perspective, marriage is a journey of no return. Let's take ourselves back in those days. In the olden times, before a man or a woman would get married, we know very sure that the man's family will be gallivanting, will be roaming here and there to seek good families. And if and look around, they will go and look around and make sure that they get a very good home. And I will be home and they will come and tell me, Satellite, we've gotten a wife for you. The wife is from this family. And I'm obliged to comply with it. And the marriage lasts longer. If you have studied that, those olden days, all their marriages last longer. And with that, it helped generation to have a stable home. In the olden days, all families, you could see that families have been staying there for a very long time. There's no misunderstanding. If you could also notice, marriages in the olden times, if you take 10 marriages, maybe there will be only one that there will be some kind of issues. The rest of the families are bound together and they stay forever. In those olden days, They were not having what we call the court marriages. They were not having any begetting. It was understanding from the father and the mother that I want my daughter to be married to this home. And they were agreed, and the lady goes. And the marriage works perfectly. What has happened and what has transpired now? That now marriages has become a home like a boxing homes. Someone married today and tomorrow the marriage collapses. Someone married today and today, the next day the marriage collapses. Some of the marriages, even at the eve of the wedding, the marriages collapses. Why? Beloved, there are numbers that have influence over each of the marriages that we are. Beloved, don't forget that numbers are in existence with human beings. So in the creation of the world, the Lord God in his wisdom did what we call the numbering. How did you know that we have first day, second day, third day, fourth day? God wanted us to understand that we should have a systematic way of doing things. And therefore, you cannot just enter into anything without you understanding. You cannot just enter into a marriage. You cannot just enter into a relationship without taking into precautions what the outcome may be. People have different kinds of reasons for marriages. People marry for businesses, people marry for security, people marry for other kinds of reasons. But as you are home, as you watch me, you are married, you are yet to be married, you've engaged certain lady, you propose to ladies. I would like you to sit back and listen very careful for you to know the number that may influence your marriage. In my earlier episode on my YouTube page, I made us understand that we have numbers, and the numbers start from 1 to 9. These are the basis numbers that we have. From number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have master numbers also. The master number comes in 11. We have 22. We have 33. They are master numbers. And each of the numbers has a way that it affects marriage. I'm not surprised that after Adam, the first ever marriage that happened, happened in 2350 BC, before Christ was born. 2350 before Christ was born. And this marriage happened in Mesopotamia. If you look at the spellings of Mesopotamia and the 2050, if you do the calculation for Mesopotamia, it stands for 1. And if you look at the 2350, if you do the calculation, it also stands for 1. So I'm not surprised that this thing happened. And it was the first time there was something we call a legal marriage on this earth. And 1 is a number of a beginning. It gives you the access to begin something. It gives you the access to start something. It gives you the access to have the courage to be able to start a new thing in life. So, when the first ever marriage happened, God created him and he brought him out of his room and the Lord put them together. Adam saw him, said, "This is the flesh of my flesh and the bone of my bone." So you got to understand this. And you got to understand that the first ever marriage on this earth happened in Mesopotamia. And that place, if you do the calculation, stands for 1. And it was 2350 BC, before the existence of Christ. And it starts with 1. And 1 begins then. You can't start numbering without counting 1. From 1 you go to 2. So you should get this. So numbers are very important for you as you journey in your marriage life. Numbers are very, 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 very important. Beloved, you got to understand this and get it well. We have numbers that influences. Example, what happens if a lady fall in the category of 1? I have my own chart in my book. That I used to teach. Example, if a lady falls in the category of 1 and 2, if a lady falls in the category of 1 and 2, what happens? If a lady falls in the category of 1 and 2, what happens? What number must the man also have in order to make the marriage compatible? It's a journey. We're going to have series of this one. So you got to understand it. If your lady falls in the category of 1, a lady, as you are watching, if you fall in the category of 1, you ask yourself, what category of man should I get engaged to? And you got to understand that if you miss the category of person that you must engage to, no matter what, the marriage will be broken. You have issues from one end to the other. You try to resolve it. So you could see that some marriages, from the woman's side and from the man's side, they are trying everything possible to keep this marriage, but it's not working. And you could see that funny things brings misunderstanding. Funny things bring confusion. That sometimes you ask yourself, how is this thing happening? Even just a toothpaste can bring confusion, can bring misunderstanding, and you don't understand. It's not because of anything. It's the number that is influencing. Don't forget that anytime a person is born, there is a vibration that comes with it. And that vibration lives with you from the day you were born to the time you die. Anytime a person is born. So if the lady is born and his calculation falls on the first and on number 1, it comes and breathes with vibrations. And those vibrations, you can never do anything about it. It lives with you forever. And the vibration of the man also lives forever. So it's the same. The reason why Margaret can pick some kind of particles, because sometimes they blend together, the opposite blend together. The opposite blend together. So when you take the magnet and you take it to the ground, you want to search for something, you see that certain particles will be attracted to the magnet. Don't forget that when you are using magnet to search for something, there will be a lot of particles on the ground, but not every particle will be attracted to. And the very particle that will not be attracted to this magnet, if you take another thing, they will be attracted to that thing, and they will not be attracted to the magnet also. So it means that in every side of life, there are things that blend together. You must understand. In homes, when you are preparing your food, you know very sure that there are certain things you cannot prepare. Example, a bread where you put too much salt, you put pepper, you can't prepare bread like that. But you have a way of preparing bread, and there are ingredients that goes with it. So you must understand that certain numbers has its own vibration, and certain numbers can never blend with them. And therefore, when these two are blended together to stay in a home, it can never work. Get this? It can never work. Therefore, you must know the number that affects you. You must know the number that affects your woman also. And it comes with a very big question. My beloved, do you know your number? You must know your number to understand the benefit that comes with it. Therefore, it will not make you to take a wrong decision in marriage. It will not make you to rush into a relationship that will not help you. It will not make you to be stranded. You could see yourself and you know yourself that there's a particular lady that after you propose to, or after you engage, you could feel some kind of peace and happiness in your heart. And there's a particular lady that you think you love so much, but this lady stress you you know it. You know that this kind of relationship with this lady, you are trying to make things work. But there's this lady that it's easy for you to flow with the lady, and you can see that the lady also flows with you. But your love for that lady, it's not that much. But the one that you are trying everything possible to make it work is the one your heart is attracted to. My brother, the vibrations of the number is telling you that this thing cannot work. This one is easy. It's easy for you to blend than the one to blend. But the other one, you can force your way out to get it in your home. But I can promise you, very easy for this lady also to go. Get this. Very easy for this lady also to go. So ladies, so if you fall in the category of one, what category of man must it be attracted to? Don't forget that we have master numbers. If a person falls in the master number 11, 22, and 33, such person has the ability to be able to sustain every number that it comes in contact with. So get this. If the person falls in 11, 22, and 33, it has the ability to stay with any number, because they are master numbers. They are master numbers. And their vibration is exceptional. Their vibration comes with a very good force that helps them to stay in error. So you could see that in some marriages, certain man, how is this man still living with this woman? This woman abused, this woman insult, this woman doesn't respect. But you could see them, sometimes they are going, they are very happy, and you are wondering, you do like this. Hey, this man, has the woman done something to her? No. The man could have a master number. And master numbers have a very big heart. They can contain everybody. So get this. And therefore, the influence of the other numbers doesn't have impact over it. But the master number has influence over those numbers. So master number can stay with one, a person or a lady who falls in one. The master number can stay with a lady who falls in two. The master number can stay with a lady who falls in category of 6. The master number can fall in a lady who falls in category 9 or 7. Any angle. If a lady also falls in a master number of 11, 22, and 33, the lady can also live with every kind of man. Forget, you can also see in your society. Have you watched that? You can see in your society, the man abused the woman. He can even bring girlfriends into their matrimonial home. And you say that, what has this lady done to this man? And this lady still lives with the man, and you don't even understand why the lady must stay there. And lady will say that, Miss, I was some way they mean to me. No, I can't stay with this kind of nonsense. Such a man who abused woman, and you are still living with this man. You understand? And you are convinced why the lady still lives there. It's not because of anything. It's because of the vibration that the lady comes with and the category of number the lady is. If the lady is in the master number, you will see that no matter what the situation, you'll be able to survive. And I once watched a Nigerian movie, and the lady came back from home, from the matrimonial home, very angry, very annoyed. When she came, she met the mother at the door. She said, Mama, have you seen what this guy is doing? Have you seen what this guy is doing to me? The lady spoke and spoke and spoke, and the mother said, have you finished? The lady said, yes, Ma, I'm finished. She said, go back to your home. She said, Ma, is that what you are telling me? So I should go for this man to beat me again? I should go for this man to do me this? I should go for this man? And the mother said, yes, go. Do you know the price I pay for you? He said, what? Ma, I saw my husband on top of a woman in our home. He said, yes, I pay a similar price for you. Ma, he beat me. He said, do you know the number of times your father has been beating me? Ma, he abused me in public. The mother said that before I gave birth to you, Your father, in the marketplace, he beat me, he pushed me on the ground. I was bleeding. I went to the hospital. The doctor told me the best way for me to survive is to abort you. But I didn't. I sustained the pain. I survived it because I wanted you to be alive. The future you have today, if all that happened in my marriage, I decided to go home and to leave this man, you will not have had this future and this marriage that you have. So go. Now this is the best way to cope. Do it like that. So the lady was surprised and he returned to his home. I believe strongly that the woman has a number of a master number 11, 22 or 33. That is why upon all the abuse of the man, the woman was able to stay with the man. So numbers influences marriage. Numbers influences marriage. I'll give you a sample of persons which vibrations number has been one of the best, and you can check it. Some persons which vibrations of numbers have been very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. If you check the former president of Ghana, Jerry John Lawrence, and the number that comes with him and that of the wife, perfect. Very perfect. Very perfect. Very perfect. Lawrence falls in the category of 4. The wife in the category of 5. And the 4 goes with 5. That's the category. So you wonder why Papa J, upon all that is going on, some people think, this woman, Papa J can never live this way because their vibration blend together. Their vibration blend together. You know, some of the great men, if you check the prince of the current prince in the United Kingdom and the wife too, they blend. They don't just marry. They check numbers. They don't just get married. They check vibrations of numbers. They check it. So beloved, we want to get your comment. We want to get your feedback as we journey in these numbers so that you will not enter into any marriage that will ruin your life. Now that this epidemic has kept us home, some engagement has been cancelled, as I said, a lot of changes come. You can sit back and reflect on the number that may influence you. And that this lady, is it good for me? This guy, is it good for me? My side chain. So that you don't enter into hell. Because in marriage, I say it's a journey of no return. So as you enter, don't think of divorce. Stay. So get the best pay. So that when you stay, you have a home like the Garden of Eden. You have your peace of mind. You can stay and enjoy life. We are grateful for you as we journey now. We are grateful for you as we journey now. And we are going to go your way again with the series of the part 2. And you're going to be blessing, and I'm also going to be blessing. And I'll say it again, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to us. And this is life. Enoch. Thank you, and God bless you. My beloved, I'll be teaching that one also. I'll be teaching that one for you to understand how numbers affect our life. I will be grateful to you to put them on our page. I'm grateful to you. Give